If you look carefully at the building, both inside and out, you'll see many clues that tell you that it's undergone a great deal of change. These changes have been happening for hundreds of years and reflect the political, religious and community climate of their time. We know what some of the changes were and when they took place. We listened to the opinions of experts, looked at what happened to other churches and made educated guesses. Let's wind back time to when the first site of worship was established in Oribus. Where people form a settlement, they tend to want somewhere to worship. Originally this was probably a simple cross. With the passage of time, this cross would have made way for a simple building. In the 800s, the Saxon period, when this first building was created, local materials would have been utilised. There was wood aplenty, so the frame would have been timber, filled with wattle and daub, using local clay. Reeds grew in abundance by the river, so these would have been used to make the roof. We cannot guess how big this building was, and indeed it may have been made in stages, enlarged to cater for increasing numbers. We assume that it would have been more or less where the church is now, and aligned east to west, as had been the custom for many years. Over time this wooden church may have been replaced by a more robust and larger stone structure, using local stone. This is likely to have been built prior to the Norman invasion, possibly sometime between 900 and 1000 AD. We have no way of telling, but the church may have had a simple wooden tower, with a bell to call the congregation. It was during the Norman period, in the 1100s, that huge changes took place in church building, not only in Oribus but across the country. The French invaders were keen to stamp their mark on England, and church building helped them to make a visual statement to communities. In this period, the church that we know today was established. Either using the existing footprint of the church or demolishing it and starting again, the nave was built, the heart of the church that grew over 1,000 years. The church would have consisted of the nave and the tower, not the tower we have now, but certainly the base on which subsequent towers were built. At this point the altar would have been contained within the nave, but canon law required the communion and holy text to be kept protected from the congregation to avoid any irreverent access. This resulted in the chancel being built in the 1200s. The chancel would have become the most holy part of the church and separated from the congregation by a screen. As the village grew, so did the congregation. The easiest way to accommodate more people was to build an extension on the nave. These are known as aisles. The first aisle to be built is usually on the south side of the nave, as at All Saints. Our southern aisle extends a little way over the chancel. This aisle was built in the 1300s, at the same time as the tower we see today. During this period, the walls would have been highly decorated with religious paintings, a small sample of which survives in the chancel. Little is known of what happened in the 1400s, but in the 1500s the roofs of the nave, aisle and chancel were raised, and a row of windows called clerestory windows were installed. This gave the inside of the church a much airier and lighter feel, which exists to this day. The 1800s saw huge changes to the church as the Victorians sought to recapture the Gothic style. Pews were added, along with much of the stained glass. So was the south porch and lychgate. The Reverend Webb paid for the north aisle to be built, to make the church bigger and symmetrical. He used stone from the existing north wall to build it. Unlike the south aisle, the north aisle only runs the length of the nave. The church looks very much as it would have done in the 1800s, except the chancel screen has been moved, pews in each aisle have been replaced by chairs, and one or two modern contrivances have been added. There will no doubt be further changes, although the fabric now has a protection of the Church of England, English heritage and the listed building scheme. It's been here a long time, and will surely be around for many years to come.